beauties, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Yemi, and this channel is all about inspiring you to own your life, live up to your potentials, and to be your best self. So welcome, thank you for clicking on today's video. I'm so excited to have you here because I trust that before the end of this video, you are going to subscribe to the channel. So you can go over the channel to look at the videos that I already have on the channel so that you can understand why this channel is so important to you and why you should subscribe to the channel. All right? Yes, thank you so much. And to my returning subscribers, how are you guys doing? I hope you are well. Happy new month. Welcome to the month of February, the month of love. I hope you all are doing well. I hope you just started this month on a great start. I'm super excited for this month and also for the series that we're going to be starting today on the channel, Read a Page with Me. Yay! So I'm so excited to start this series with you guys where I read a page of a book with you, maybe a page or two, you know, but it's going to be titled, or the theme is going to be Read a Page with Me, where we read a page of a book together. It's going to be inspirational books, and you can also recommend books that you would like me to talk about, maybe a genre, maybe a topic. You can recommend books that you would love for me to read with you. All right, so this is going to happen once in every month. Okay, we're starting with the month of February, so the next episode is going to be in the next month. All right, so it's just going to, we're just going to read a page. You know, I know that sometimes we do want to read, but we don't have that time to read. So, you know, you can just log into the episode, you know, click on the video, watch, and get inspired by a page or two of someone else's idea in a book. All right, so as I can already tell from the thumbnail and probably from the title of this video, you know the first book we are reading on this series is yes, we are going to be reading the book called The Light We Carry by Michelle Obama. Yes, I'm so excited to be starting with this book. Honestly, I've enjoyed reading this book. I'm not done completely because I've been reading the book with my friends, and we're going slow, right? We're reading the book, we're sharing the lessons together, we are talking about how we will implement the things that we have learned from the book together. So it's been a kind of a slow one, but we're almost done. It's not like slow, but we're almost done reading the book. But yes, there's so much to take away from this book. I think we have just 1 or 2 chapters left. There's so much to take away from this book. This is a great read, and I will highly recommend this book. I already talked about this book in the video where I talked about 10 life-changing books for every woman to read this year. I'll link the video in the description box, and I'm also going to be linking the books that I talk about in the description box for you guys so that you can get a copy for yourself, okay? Yes, so we're going to be reading this book today, A Page. Like I said, this book is a very great read. Every page, every chapter has something to take away with, okay? Like she said, the book is about overcoming in uncertain times. Yes, I'm just going to do a quick review, a quick recap of the book, okay? It's basically how she adjusts to different uncertain times in her life. She talks about the tools, the resources that has helped her when she has gone through either of these experiences. You know, she talked about how she was able to adjust to the uncertainty of the pandemic. The book started with that, actually. And then she talked about how she handles fear, decoding fear in her life, and the tools, the resources, the techniques, the mechanism that she's able to overcome fear and how to deal with fear. She talked about the people that has inspired her on her journey, the people that have encouraged her, the friends. There was a chapter that was dedicated to friendship. You know, we always talk about, you know, female friendship is always a struggle, but she talks about how friendship has been a pillar, a support system for her, even when she was in the White House. You know, she talks about so many things, starting kind, being kind with yourself. In fact, when I was thinking about a page to read with you guys, it was so hard for me. It was so difficult for me to choose a particular page to read. But yes, I finally decided on a page to read because this is the month of love. I decided to pick a part of the book that really signifies what self-love is. From my own point of view anyway, it has something to do with self-love, and yeah, I'm going to read that to you guys. Is that what you think? So please continue watching the video. Are you ready? Yes, so get your drink. I have my cup of water here. So get your drinks, get your popcorn, get whatever you need to relax because it's going to be a chill video, okay? Get your drinks, get everything you need, and just relax and enjoy the reading. So I'm reading from chapter 7, Meet My Mom, from page 203. That's where I'm starting from, just like a paragraph at the end of the chapter. So in this section, she talks about the wisdom that she got from her mom, and she's sharing some maxims that her mom lives by, okay, some principles that her mom lives by. So this is number 3 of those things that this is number 3 of the things that she's sharing from her mom's maxims. All right, I don't really want to talk so much in this video. Let's just get to reading. Number 3, know what's truly precious. Okay, my mom remembers that the house she grew up in on the south side had a big coffee table at the center of the living room, made of smooth, delicate glass. It was breakable, and so everyone in the family was forced to navigate around it, almost on tiptoe. She was a studious observer of her own family, my mother. She sat squarely in the middle of 7 children, which gave her a lot to watch. She had 3 older siblings and 3 younger ones, plus 2 parents who appeared to be polar opposites and didn't much get along. She spent years absorbing the dynamics around her, quietly and perhaps unconsciously formulating her ideas about how she would someday raise a family of her own. She saw how her father, my grandfather Southside, tended to baby his kids, especially her 3 older sisters. He drove them around in his car so that they wouldn't need to take the bus, afraid of what lay beyond his control. I mean, you can understand now. He woke them up in the morning so they wouldn't need to set an alarm. He seemed to enjoy their dependence on him. My mom took note. My grandmother, Rebecca, my mom's mom, meanwhile, was stiff and proper, patiently unhappy and possibly, my mother believes now, clinically depressed. When she was young, she dreamed of being a nurse, but apparently her mother, a washerwoman who had raised 7 kids in Virginia and North Carolina, had told her that going to nursing school cost a lot of money and black nurses rarely get good jobs. So, Rebecca married my grandfather and had 7 children instead, never seeming terribly content with what her life had yielded. She did also eventually grow unhappy enough to leave, moving out of the house when my mom was about 14, supporting herself by becoming a nursing aide. Southside later ran a more relaxed household without her. The governing edict in grandmother Rebecca's house was that children should be seen, not heard. At the dinner table, my mom and her siblings were instructed to stay silent, to listen mutely and respectfully to the adult conversation around them, never contributing to it themselves. My mother vividly remembers the feeling of having a whole bunch of unexpressed thoughts piling up in her head. It was uncomfortable. She didn't like it at all. Even psychologically, they were all on tiptoe, careful about how and where they stepped. When her mother's friends came to visit their home, my mom and her siblings were required to join the adults in the living room. All of them, from toddlers to teens, were expected to sit politely at the edges, permitted to say nothing more than hello. My mother described long evenings spent in that room with her mouth clamped shut in agony, hearing plenty of adults speak she wanted to engage with. Plenty of ideas she'd want to quibble with or at least better understand. She spent hours trying to hold back her opinions, all the while staring at that glass coffee table, which was kept pristine and gleaming at all times, without so much as a single smudge or fingerprint on it. It must have been during these hours that my mother arrived at the idea, even unconsciously, that our own kids someday would be not just allowed but encouraged to speak. Years later, this would become the established creed of Euclid Avenue. Any thought could be expressed, any opinion was valued. No earnest question would ever be disallowed. Laughter and tears were permitted. Nobody would need to tiptoe. One night, when someone new stopped in for a visit, my mom remembers the woman surveying all the young faces and restless bodies packed into the living room, and finally posing a logical question. How possibly could you have a glass table like this and all of these kids? She doesn't recall how my grandmother responded, but my mom knew in her heart what the real answer was. Her own mother had, in her opinion, missed a fundamental lesson about what was precious and what was not. What was the point of seeing children without hearing them? No child in her family would ever dare touch that glass table, the same way none of them will dare to speak, knowing they would have to get punished for even trying. They were being held in place rather than being allowed to grow. One evening, finally, when my mom was about 12, some grown-up friends came over to their house to visit, and for some foolish reason, one of them happened to sit down on the table. To my grandmother's horror, and as her children watched silently, it shattered into pieces on the floor. For Mom, it was a bit of cosmic justice. Even today, this story still cracks her up. All right. Such an interesting story. Honestly, I know. It's more than a page, okay? But I wanted to just complete that particular point, from beginning to the end. And I knew I was going to be able to read it as quickly as possible, that it would not overwhelm you. But then it's such a great story, right? And, going back to the point, know what is truly precious to you. I mean, we can judge the grandmother, we can talk about how she didn't understand what was really precious to her. But then if we look closely at our lives, if you look closely at your own life, the way you go about your own things, when I was reading this particular chapter, I had to look within myself that, do I really know what is important to me? Do I really know what is precious to me? Do I really know what I should focus on and not waste my time on things that don't really matter to me? A lot of times, especially as women, we have a lot of responsibility. We have a lot of things to do. Even if you're not married, even if you don't have a family of your own, we have a lot of responsibility. You have a responsibility for yourself. You want to live a great life. You want to lead a great life as well. You want to be happy. You want to be content. You want to have all the things that you need, right? And that requires, putting in an effort, right? So we can all have busy lives. We can all get busy. So it's very easy for you to miss the line. It's very easy for you to forget what is truly precious to you and what is really important to you, right? And we find ourselves, because we're very busy, we realize that we spend so much of our time, we pour in so much of our energy on things that don't really matter. Imagine, look at the grandmother. She spent so much of her energy trying to raise disciplined children and trying to create this beautiful home. Because I'm trying to imagine, why would you have a glass table in your house that nobody can touch? I mean, I also have a glass table. My dining table is actually glass. And then when I was reading this, I was trying to do I behave like this? Do people tiptoe? Does my kids tiptoe around this table in the kitchen? But that really wasn't the point, right? That's not me. My glass table is always with a lot of print and all of that. So my point is, we can get so busy. We can get so overwhelmed with life that if we're not intentional about, figuring out the things that are really important to you and the things that are precious to you, we'll miss out on things. You would pour your energy into the wrong things. And I think it's an act of self-love, right? We talk about self-love all the time, and when we talk about self-love, we talk about dumping ourselves in the bathtub, going out with friends, going out to do your nails, or just going to the spa, and things that only takes care of our body. But the truth is, if you're not okay internally, like she said, that now among things that her own mom, that's Michelle's grandmother, was probably clinically depressed at the time that she didn't know, but that's not the focus. My point is, if we don't, if you look at self-love as just taking care of your physical body and not taking care of your inner self, cleansing yourself from the inside out, you will find yourself just going about doing things that is not really important. You find yourself being busy and focusing on things that are not really precious to you. Why do you need a day off for yourself? Why do you need to soak yourself in the bathtub? The real reason why people take time for self-care or to love upon themselves is because they want to find that inner contentment. They want to find that inner satisfaction. And if you know what is truly precious to you, if you take time to sit there and realize that, oh, this is what's important to me. This is what I really need to focus on. Then you will save yourself the energy of focusing or pouring your energy in the wrong things. I look at myself, I look at my family, I look at the way I run things right now. I find myself sometimes getting overwhelmed when I do not even need to be overwhelmed. I'm shouting, I'm screaming on, not necessarily shouting, but I'm pouring out my anger in a funny way on my husband or on my kids when I'm just overwhelmed. And if I look deeply, these are the people that are precious to me. These are the people that are important to me. So why am I angry? Why am I getting overwhelmed? Why am I getting tired? Am I chasing something that is not really important to me at the excess of this thing that is precious to me? And when I do those things, I'm not at peace with myself. When I shout, when I lash out on my kids, I'm not comfortable with myself. But the moment where I look away from those things that are overwhelming me, I look away from those things that distract me, I get that peace. And I realize that it's an act of self-love for myself. Not just because I want things to be organized, not just because I want to focus on other people, but when I do those things, when I figure out what is truly precious to me, what is truly important to me, where I should focus my energy, I realize that I'm loving myself. I'm taking care of myself. I'm at peace with myself, you know? So yes, that's just what I want to talk about today. I don't want to go on and on. I feel like reading the page, for just reading it out loud, as I was reading, you probably got something that I did not even focus on, that I did not even think about, you know? So I want to know in the comment section. I could also relate this particular chapter or this particular point that I read to, you know, identity crisis, right? Because somehow I figured out that why would the mom, the grandmother want to buy a glass table when you have 7 kids? Why would you want to do that? Maybe she had this kind of inferiority complex. Maybe she's gone to people's homes and she's seen that they have some kind of beautiful thing and she wanted to keep that beautiful thing for herself. Whatever reason, I'm just wondering, like, I could also tie it to identity crisis, but I would love to hear from you guys. What did you get from this particular chapter that I read? What did you take away? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I would love to learn from you guys as well. I'd love to hear from you guys as well. And also, give me recommendations of books that you would love for me to talk about. Although I have quite a few number of books on personal development, and this year I'm really trying to read a lot more books on faith, right? So let me know what kind of books you guys would want me to talk about. I'd really love to hear from you guys. All right. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for your time. As always, you guys are amazing. My new and old subscribers, you guys are amazing and I love you guys. Until next time, bye.